right, welcome to the Speedzone. I'm Adam Sloan.
I'm Russ Cook.
And we're here to talk about tonight's episode of The Flash, Rupture. Now, just a quick intro of what's been happening with The Flash recently. Last week there was a bit of a filler episode. Not the best.
A little premise and setup, if you will. Something to lead into the nice little plot going into the climax of the final 4 episodes.
One thing you have to remember is The Flash is trying to drag out as much as they can, more active speedsters and different worlds, but now they're really pushing the limits with this episode. What do you think?
I got a little chime in with that one. I mean, they seem like they're just throwing in as many different characters for not a whole lot of reason. Like putting Gray in for the last episode didn't really serve a whole lot of purpose as far as it's just a fill-in character. I was the first one to question bringing in Rupture for this episode until you actually get to see the emotional drawback that it does for Cisco, which is going to probably potentially lead into Cisco developing into his vibe powers. So at first I was saying it was kind of a pointless thing when Zoom could just come in and just wipe everybody out in 2 seconds regardless.
Oh, absolutely.
Why bring in someone to do his dirty work for him? He's already lied to Caitlin. He's going to do it regardless.
How long it takes for him to get to that point.
Yeah, the point of the character actually did come to full circle when you get to see the full emotional attachment it did, which is directly connected to Vibe's power.
Now, the instance of Rupture in this episode, if you are just joining us, is the fact that Vibe has not truly developed his powers up to this point and needs a little bit of a kick. And now his powers are triggered by his emotions, triggered
tied directly in. I mean,
tied directly in.
They dropped the best little jewel in the world when they gave us reverb, and you actually got to see the full potential of the Vibe power.
Yeah, but that also questions Cisco into wondering, well, am I going to go? He literally said it. Am I going to go Vader?
Yeah, and
I mean, that obviously that was Barry's concern when he first became the Flash as well, but.
And we're going to start drawing off a little off topic because we're having this conversation during a commercial break on the show too.
Absolutely.
But one little small beef that I have with the show. Love the show. I absolutely love the direction that they're going. But slight beef with the show is why is it every single metahuman that was affected by the particle accelerator is a villain? I go, you have the Flash, you have Firestorm, and you have Vibe.
All people that worked on the accelerator.
The Flash wasn't. I mean, Barry Allen wasn't.
Well, he was directly associated with the building.
The other two were working on the particle accelerator itself. And I go, but everybody else in this entire city that was affected, it only affected negatively. I go, there wasn't one random good-hearted person with a conscience that actually got any of this radiation.
My only thinking with that is they wanted to ensue that Wells, the horrible, horrible man. Yes, and power corrupts, as we all know. But
except for these 3 individuals.
Of course.
They're just 2 individuals, but still.
We'll get to that later. But getting to another topic was the revelation that Henry Allen's maiden name.
Correct.
Garrick. Now,
they've dropped that name a couple times, as you pointed out, too, in the very first episode.
Yeah.
It was Garrick Wharf was where they went to go investigate. The first place they went to go investigate in the very first episode of The Flash.
Exactly.
Dropped that name, Garrick, and we both had commented on it at the time, like, ooh, Garrick. As in alluding to Jay Garrick.
But when Caitlin revealed that there was no Jay Garrick on Earth 1, figured, well, that was just a cameo and a nice little hint for the pilot episode. But turns out, it was better than we thought.
So trying to find a reasonable discussion here for just a moment on trying to find a way that Garrick ties in
to the man in the iron helmet.
Yeah, the Garrick family name ties in directly to the Allen family name. So, if Henry Allen's mother, her maiden name was Garrick.
Yes.
The only tie-in you could tie it into Zoom would be Zoom's father, because the family names are handed down from males. They
Jay's
go from
father
male to male.
Would be
her maiden name was Garrick. Then it went to Allen when she.
So
was
it's married. Her brother.
Jay Garrick's father. His name was. It has to be brother and sister relationship. So you would have Henry Allen and Zoom being cousins.
Which makes sense because in another Earth, there was a Malcolm Allen, a twin Allen that was separated.
Correct. Now, again, like you alluded to just a minute ago, going into who potentially is the man in the iron mask in the jail cell.
I'm going to say it is Jay Garrick.
Quite possibly. Because Zoom is so overly protective of that secret.
And I still
so far as to threatening Caitlyn's life had she touched that cell.
And I still go back to the episode where Earth 2 Wells meets Henry Allen. That moment still strikes me because he is stopped cold in his tracks looking at him. Mr. Allen?
I'm trying to recall that. I'm going to have to rewatch that. But
yeah.
I think you're correct.
So my thinking is that on Earth 2, if there was a Flash before Hunter took over and had his remnant and do all that,
would be Henry Allen.
Wouldn't you notice the Flash's face, considering it's in broad
covered
daylight?
By a silver helmet. Yeah.
Yes, but you see Jay's face.
True.
So, if there was a real Jay Garrick and a real Flash, wouldn't you notice the difference?
You'd have to. There's no
You'd
way
have to. But
okay, so I digress. Well, we got to back up here.
Yes,
a little spun on our wild
but,
theories.
But the man in the mask, Jay Garrick. I'm going to say it.
I'm still on the fence. I honestly don't, because you're tying into the factor.
But I'm going to say it's Henry's twin.
It's got okay. What I'm saying, if it's going to be, then it could be Henry's twin.
That's the only other reason I can think of.
So I'm going.
He looks like Henry, and they teased the Flash suit from the '90s series.
He's also got to be. What was the tapping code he was using?
It was War Tap Code.
War Tap Code. So he was a military man.
Yes.
I mean, guys, I'm at a loss.
It could be Jay Garrick. It could be Hunter's dad. He's already said he's gone back in time.
And it's true. It could be.
And it's the man that turned him evil.
I can stick with Hunter's dad. That makes a completely logical, rational sense to me, because when Hunter's dad killed Hunter's mother, he had just come home from war. So using a military tap code, I'm going to say it's Hunter's dad. I'm going to go with that. That's going to be my guess.
I think that's my number one.
I think that they're going to reveal it before the end of this season.
No, it is revealed in the finale. I have confirmed that already.
Okay. So we will know in 3 more episodes.
Yes, we will.
One of us will be correct.
Now, going back to the Cisco Dante, which is his doppelganger Rupture in Earth 2, I really think this was the moment that Cisco is going to really build his powers now. I mean, his emotional connection is completely resolved.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, when he was first about to go after the police in the police station, that went on a commercial break, and I went on a whole tirade of how I was really irritated because
absolutely.
It seemed like they were just dropping another pointless character into the show that feeds nothing into the plot development. I was
pleasantly surprised.
My mouth was shut. They brought it full circle. It tied directly into Cisco watching on the screen. Again, great range of motion coming out of somebody with just the way he's developing that character is brilliant.
And his the writing, I know
we'll get into Cisco at another time because that's an entire
Speedzone episode.
Yeah, that's a whole episode unto itself.
Now, the biggest revelation of the episode, besides Barry finally growing a pair and trying to get his speed back, the revelation of the particle accelerator hitting 2 new people that we've been waiting for all season, and they've dragged out. But I'm a little mad they did it all in the same episode.
I'm not. I mean, you had to do it all at the same time because we're talking about. I mean, it's dark matter explosion. You can't really do that more than once.
Of course,
but at the same time, I will say, because I mean, we've just been sitting here waiting in anticipation for Kid Flash
and Jesse Quick.
Why? See, I wasn't sure they were going to do Jesse Quick at the same.
Well, she was injected with Velocity 9. That was a little bit of a precursor there.
Oh yeah, I mean they tapped on it, but I mean we've been hearing,
and he's called her Jesse Quick before.
We've been hearing from so many different sources that Kid Flash is definitely happening. We're going to see Kid Flash, and they've just been pumping Wally up with more and more screen time per episode.
But my concern is with this, the show is The Flash, and of course we're going to see dual episodes with Kid Flash jumping in and
probably multiple crossovers as well.
And you know what? I actually would bet that they take Wally on Legends of Tomorrow.
I could see that.
I could see that.
I mean, honestly, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, he'd be a great addition to that cast.
He would be, and
because he can't be a full-time character on The Flash. We had discussed earlier, but for the sake of repeating for this show, plausible future outcomes for Jessie Quick. You know, she's probably homesick by now.
She'll probably go back to her too.
You know, there's an open gateway for her to get back in the hospital. She can jump back anytime, especially with super speed. She has the means, the ability, and the desire to go back to Earth 2.
But my question is, what does she have left on Earth 2 at this point?
It's her home. It's what she knows.
Yeah,
this is a strange foreign place and trying to rebuild some new life here. And now it's not like she can't come back and visit whenever the hell she wants. Jessie Quick can do whatever she wants.
This is true, but with no Vibe, there's no way if that is closed.
If Zoom is gone, there's no reason to close it.
Of course.
You can have a happy medium, jumping back and forth.
So my question to you and to the viewers is, do we want to see Kid Flash a lot? Or do we want to see him have his own city? Or possibly, a cameo on Legends of Tomorrow.
I could see him in season 2 of Legends of Tomorrow. I mean, I personally, the show is called The Flash.
Yeah,
that's too much Flash for one show to handle.
But
you can't have him as a permanent fixture. It detracts.
It does
detract. It's
detract.
a character that detracts from the primary characters that we've already spent almost two seasons getting attached to and developing. So I would like to see him come back frequently, do some pop-ins. I mean, he's still Barry Allen's stepbrother. He's still,
And odds are Barry's going to be teaching him the ropes and getting him out him out of a few messes, as we say.
I would say, once Barry rematerializes.
We'll get to that in a few minutes.
In probably like the first 4, potentially 5 episodes of season 3. You're going to see him stick around till he comes around and he makes his own decision.
I almost wonder if the way Barry gets out of, I'm going to say the Speedzone, which is, well, for viewers who are just joining us, Barry tried to get his speed back at the end of the episode after 9 people died, and he finally just said, you know what? I'll do it. Why not? He disintegrated. Not like Trajectory.
He basically broke down into pure Speed Force energy.
Yes, so happened. I'm going to say he's in speed purgatory, if you will.
Speed purgatory. That's a good phrase to use. I like speed purgatory. Because he's also, they show on the preview for next week's episode, you get to see him in this purgatory type situation, a nether region, if you will.
Yeah.
Being spoken to by, of course, when you're in that sort of situation, it's familiar faces, but being spoken to as other entities.
And something you said
Joe
earlier,
kind of scold him saying, "I'm not Joe," and kind of telling him it's gonna be a Christmas Carol situation. If anyone's familiar with Dickens, essentially he's gonna be these are gonna be the mentor ghosts that are gonna be speaking to him. He's gonna have to come to a rational thing. And there's going to be a lesson to be learned, and then he's going to come back.
For those who've seen the Justice League Unlimited cartoon, Wally was the first one to actually get stuck in the Speed Force like this, and had to actually be pulled out by Manhunter. So in this case, I'm wondering, and if in this case, Vibe is the only one that can truly reach him and pull him out. I'm wondering if Vibe's powers had to develop because of this episode.
Well, it's a double whammy for Vibe, too.
Because
Vibe also saw his brother's doppelganger, that you obviously saw how that was
affecting him.
Drastically affected him emotionally.
And his brother.
And now his best friend has vanished. Future prediction. Here's what's going to happen.
Okay.
Harry Wells is going to basically come up with a theorem. Like he said, he's searching the universe. I figured out where he is. There's only one way to get to it. Vibe, you got to come up. You got the glasses now. Develop your power. You can reach in. You can grab him. Boom. And that's going to give him the confidence of, I can use my powers for good. And we're going to see a lot more of Vibe coming in season 3.
I agree. I want to see a suit. I'm getting tired.
I'm dying to see the suit.
He's already got the goggles. He's halfway there.
I'm dying to see what Cisco whips up for Kid Flash.
Now,
they've already dropped a lot of color on it.
They did. The black suit with the red and the yellow. That's fine by me. Do it right. Wonderful. My one thing about this episode that I cannot get off my mind is the fact that Zoom said something to Caitlin. There's darkness in you. I've seen it, as I saw it in Killer Frost.
Unlock it.
Now, we know that she's not a metahuman because Cisco already scanned her.
Yep.
She does not have the metahuman gene.
Yep.
My question is, what does that mean? If she has the evil within her.
It could go either way. I mean, but they've already shown time and time again that just because your doppelganger on Earth 2 went dark doesn't necessarily mean you have to go dark. Everybody has light and dark in them.
Her name is Killer Frost.
Zoom is grasping at straws here because he doesn't want to be alone. He's just really hoping he can... Again, though, keep in mind that a few episodes ago, they told us basically who Zoom really is. He is a serial killer. He murders people for the pleasure of murdering people. And he wasn't born that way. He was made that way by situations in his childhood. So it would be. I mean, he's
the parallels with Barry and Hunter are, it's astronomical in this case, which it's to the point where you almost wonder, why did they tease Henry Allen in his original '90s suit?
They're gonna drop it at some point. They're gonna drop it.
But they have to drop it this season. Otherwise, who the fuck is gonna remember that next season?
True. Yeah, you alluded to something in season 1. You got to drop it in season 2.
That's true. Now,
season 2, you got to drop it in season 3.
Now, the only two things we have not seen thus far from the tunnel to Earth 2 was the Legion ring.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And the original Flash.
That's true.
So,
the original Flash is going to have to come from Earth 2.
It's we've already seen that Barry can go to other Earths.
But that's what I mean. In what the show has given us as of this point,
of course, it's going to be Earth 2.
Aside from the fact that he already went and met Supergirl, on splicing into a completely different show in a completely different universe, which I love, by the way.
Yes, but mind you, get the weeks right. You gave him the damn.
Yeah, we got to go into a little. Okay, y'all.
We're going to a tangent here because God damn.
Okay, writers. Not even so much writers of the Flash, because the writers have been brilliant.
Just schedules.
But whoever is timing the schedule for these, I'll blame the network. How about that?
Yeah,
We're
that's
blame the network on this one.
But just
you drop a jewel on a Monday on Supergirl on a week when the Flash is on breaks, then you have a week of blank space. Then you give us what we already know is going to be coming, but at the same time, it was just a really oops kind of gap moment.
Well, you start the episode with Barry with this new tachyon prototype on him that, hey, where the hell did this come from? And guess what? We have to wait not 1 week, but 2 weeks to find out why.
Yeah, I would have actually really enjoyed that a lot more if I would have gotten the Supergirl episode with the tachyon device on Flash crossover on Monday, and then you get the Flash jumping back with the tachyon machine on Tuesday.
Yes.
So it's boom, boom.
And then Arrow took a break that week, and then it was scheduled for another week after that.
Their scheduling is slightly off.
It was awful. It was hard to follow. It really was. But you know what? I want to talk about my hopes and dreams for the next week.
I mean, we've covered a lot of what we think.
We have. My hopes and dreams for next week. Barry either meets other speedsters who have been stuck in the Speed Force.
Oh, that would be sweet.
Getting stuck in the Speed Force, and not only getting knowledge of the Speed Force, how to manipulate it, how to,
to bring some of the listeners here up to speed on some conversation that we have had that we haven't really alluded to. When a few episodes back, when they go ahead and they tie in time wraiths, and Barry jumps through the timeline, but he doesn't know what he's doing. You get chased by the time. The time wraiths hate speedsters who mess with time, and that's what they do. They go after speedsters that mess with time.
So do you think this Speed Purgatory is where they drop off the speedsters?
It is quite possible, because also the time wraiths are speedsters. Former speedsters,
as we saw with the mutilated cowl,
cowl and helmet,
that was brilliant.
Who fuck with time just a little too much.
Oh yeah,
and
they steal the life force possibly to get back into the Speed Force
potentially. And that's
that's a whole different conversation.
But
yes,
at the same time, all right. So
meeting different speedsters
is very, very plausible. Being stuck in a Speed Force purgatory. Because essentially what we saw, what I'm gathering from what we saw was that Barry essentially almost evaporated into pure Speed Force energy. So I would love to see that. Hopes and dreams for next episode?
Yeah.
Absolutely. I would love to see him stuck in that, and what those visions that he's seeing of people they know are actually other speedsters, but in a form relatable to his mind. So
that's my point.
Makes sense. That would make sense to me.
That would be wonderful.
My number one hope for next week, which I'm sure they're gonna have to give me something on it, is developing vibe. I've been waiting.
They have to.
Way too long to see some vibe. You know, the Cisco character is being played so brilliantly. He has all the best lines.
You know what the best thing is?
His comedic timing is perfect. He drops.
And these writers are just killing it.
Tonight's episode, man, the little ties in with Harry Potter. Look, as a big Harry Potter fan myself, living in Los Angeles, I'm actually going to the new Harry Potter land next week. I'm going to be running around like an idiot with my wand and cape, screaming out Expecto Patronum myself. So I absolutely fell in love with that.
Oh, that was hilarious. But my favorite of the episode was still Wells. Okay, can we stop playing hoodlums and holograms and get to work, please?
Again, another character. I'm so glad they kept him back and the way they've done it.
And his transformation, complete 180. And,
And
you saw that with the Reverse Flash returns.
As far as just acting ability, I mean, I think the way that he's
Tom Cavanaugh, if not has won an Emmy by now, needs to.
Since the viewers at home can't actually see me, I literally just took my hat off.
And tipped it.
My hat is off to you, sir. I go, fantastic job doing. And I do believe it was you that told me, the actor's name is eluding me at the moment.
Tom Cavanaugh, or Cisco Ramon. This is his first acting gig.
You know, I would have never guessed that about halfway into season 1.
He is such a natural, and
I would have pegged him to be at least have some stage time as a stand-up comedian,
or theater experience.
You know,
for
I
that
have several friends who do stand up. Some, the ones that are really good, it's all about the timing, that comedic timing. Some people just have it, and when they have it, it pops and
it's just like that.
And it's like, then again, though, I will say this: neither one of us are on set. I have no idea how many takes. Sometimes it may take to get those perfect shots.
But you know what?
I'm going to go on a limb and say this cast has such great chemistry together that
they have to have a lot of fun on set.
Just the sheer chemistry that goes on between the
special effects. You know, getting whooshed in the face with wind every 5 minutes. They got to have some great stories as well. But I think that's all the time we have for this week. Catch us next week for The Runaway Dinosaur, which is, God, I am so excited. Kevin Smith's episode.
One of my favorite writers, favorite directors, Kevin Smith.
And apparently, Jay Muse going to be in the episode.
Well, Jay, are you going to make a little pop in?
He's going to be a metahuman.
Outstanding. I just couldn't be more excited. Anything that Kevin Smith, when it's comic related, and Kevin Smith gets his hands on it, you know the writing will be there. You know he will hold true to the characters, true to the story, and do it correctly, because he's also just like everybody. Like,
he's a nerd.
He's a fanboy.
He's nerd.
Self-proclaimed ultimate fanboy. He just, he loves this stuff as much as we do.
Now,
so
if you guys watch anything Kevin does, please watch Comic Book Men. It's a wonderful show.
It is. Honestly,
it doesn't get a good rep.
It's asking goofy questions. It's a bunch of guys geeking out that have way too much knowledge on a useless subject, but it's highly entertaining.
Oh, absolutely. So join us next week. I'm Adam.
I'm Russ.
And thanks for joining us on the Speed Zone.